King of Kings. I can still hear the music playing. The King of Kings League. We are recapping the 2024 season Week 18 championship. We're definitely going to roast you about that. But I got Ryan and I got Sam on the other side. How you guys doing? You ready for a recap and kind of look ahead to the 2025 season with this league?
It's the King of Kings.
This is our third time covering this league, man.
I love it. Let's give the first time. I picked No Prisoners to win. He let me down. He finished second in standings, but last place in the actual playoffs. Well, I think he finished sixth. So thanks, buddy. Let me down.
I don't remember who I picked. I do remember liking Mr. No Prisoners. I think I might have picked them at one point, one of our shows.
I only did the midway point or the shortly before the playoffs, but I don't even remember who it was. I would think I would remember if it was Mr. No Prisoners because he's the only one that's not a football team name.
He didn't get the memo.
So I have no idea who I picked.
All right, well, it doesn't matter because the Baltimore Ravens are the 2024 champions of the King of Kings. They are the King of Kings of Kings of Kings.
The Ratbirds are the Kings.
So, why don't we look at the championship team real quick? What they did in Week 18. Went off with Bo Nix. Huge game for Bo Nix. Got them into the playoffs. Then we had Brian Robinson, only gave you 1 point. I don't think he played the full game, though. I don't remember. Week 18 was so long ago. Jalen Warren gave us 2 points. Devontae Adams, 14. Justin Jefferson kind of laid an egg in that big Sunday Night Football must-have it to try to get the first-round bye game. That was part and due to Sam Darnold. George Pickens, 0. He's an all-or-nothing guy. Brock Bowers, 13.5 points. Thielen only gave you 4. And then it came down to the kicker in the defense. Brandon McManus outscored Sanders and the Ravens defense going against the Browns.
Yeah, saw that coming.
Yeah. So now the big issue is, and I hope that this league will change the settings for future seasons because we saw it come into play. Look at the bench. Look at the guys who couldn't play. Patrick Mahomes, Saquon Barkley. These are some of the guys who, Devontae Smith, these are the guys who got you here. I know you still won the championship, but do we really want to play championships in a week where those types of players aren't playing? Then it's not that they're hurt. They're just benched because their teams are resting before the playoffs. What do you guys think about Week 18 championships? Terrible?
Horrible. I won't even, honestly, no joke, I won't even join a league if they say the final's going to be Week 18.
Yeah, no way. I don't think I would even ask.
Just for me, when I'm drafting, like any type of thing, whether it be startup or anything, you always want to draft players on great offenses.
Yeah.
So I think the fact that you're like taking a lot of that away from you in a Week 18 championship is a little bit insane. Because a lot of times your Chiefs, Bills, whatever, at this point they're resting their guys to the playoffs. You're not getting your top guys for the final game. And I think that's the sole reason that you should only do Week 17 or playoffs like ever. But hey, to each their own.
On the other side, the Rams came up short with Joe Burrow, Aaron Jones, Tyrone Tracy, Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill only gave you 2 points. Lad McConkey had a nice week. Mark Andrews, Josh Jacobs, and then, of course, we saw Sanders and the Colts defense. On the bench, we had Russell Wilson, James Conner, Isaac Guarendo, Keaton Mitchell, Zach Moss, Kyron Williams. There's another guy who probably made the difference in losing this championship because he didn't get to play Kyron Williams. Marquise Brown, Josh Downs, Cooper Kupp, Malik Washington, Noah Gray, Isaiah Likely, and Ben Sinnott. All right, so quick, what do you guys think of these teams? What could they have done different? And then we'll kind of move on and look ahead to 2025.
Well, I'll tell you right off the bat, if you can find me a team with 3 worse defenses than the LA Rams, I don't know who they are, because I was looking, I was like, who the hell starts the Colts in the championship game? And then I look down here, I'm like, oh, Carolina and New Orleans. Great. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I might make a move for a defense in a dynasty.
I think the glaring issue for the Ravens, is that what we're talking about right now, Ravens?
We can talk about the Ravens or the Rams.
Whatever. Oh, my bad. I didn't even start talking about a team.
My bad. What you want to talk about?
So the first of these teams you want to start critiquing these guys' teams. Jesus, my words right now. But like, obviously for the Ravens, the glaring need is running back. I mean, you have Saquon, you have CMC, but they're both getting older.
Yeah.
Don't know how CMC's coming back with this whole Achilles issue. We've got another injury he picked up. We'll see what happens. Barkley's getting up there. Other than that, it's Robinson and Warren, Jordan Mason, a few gadget guys that don't really play like that. Other than that, the team's put together pretty well.
I'm worried about Pacheco. Pacheco's there.
Pacheco as well.
So yeah. I have a feeling he's going to lose his job this offseason, unfortunately. And I think they're going to draft somebody. They're going to draft. They're going to pick 31st, 32nd, 30th. They're going to draft a guy at the end of the first round. There's so many running backs. They're going to do the same thing that they did with Clyde Edwards-Helaire a few years ago. They're going to take an Amari Hampton or one of these guys.
Yeah, but Pacheco's obviously so much better than Helaire.
Well, yeah, of course. But, I mean, he's a former 7th-round pick. He hasn't had a good season. It's kind of a luxury type of pick for the Chiefs. They're pretty good shape across the roster. You know, their offense wasn't great this year. Maybe they're like, all right, our run game kind of sucked. You know, we've been riding Kareem Hunt. They've been playing Kareem Hunt over Pacheco because he's been so ineffective coming off that broken leg. They're going to go pick a running back. Maybe it's not in the first round. Maybe it's in the second. Maybe it's on day 3. Somebody who can compete in the 4th round. It's a deep running back class.
Well, I'll tell you exactly what's going to happen is you're probably right. They'll probably do that. And then once again, people will be confounded in the fantasy industry by which chief is going to fucking get the ball each week.
It's game they play. Yeah, I think I've seen everything I need for Pacheco's replacement, considering Kareem Hunt taking the bulk that carries in the playoffs so far. Not saying Pacheco's done, but I could definitely see them going after a replacement.
Yeah, they've already gone away from Pacheco because they're like, this guy sucks. At least right now.
Yeah, but wouldn't it be just like them to like unleash him in like the Super Bowl? Wouldn't that be just like so Andy Reid? It would be so Andy Reid.
I hope he does. I love Pacheco. I felt like a proud dad watching him score a touchdown in the Super Bowl a couple years ago.
Right.
His rookie year or whatever it was, second year. All right. What's this team Ravens? What do they got for draft picks? So it looks like in 2025, they get 2 seconds, a 3rd, and a 4th. No first. They don't have a first in 2026 or 2027 either. We already talked about they're kind of aging out at running back.
Yeah, they're gonna need to pick up running backs now if they don't have a first in the next 2 years either.
Lucky for them, they do have.
It's a good thing this is a deep class for running.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Good thing 2 of 3 is on their roster. So if they want to draft one of the later running backs, they can take a stab at one of those guys in the top of the second.
Yeah, because even I like having Jaylen Warren on a roster. He's capable of putting up points here and there. And Najee Harris is going to be gone, I assume.
Is he a free agent as well?
No, but what I was going to say is, but I still think they'll bring in somebody else ahead of Jaylen.
That's another team that
a draft or free agency.
Yeah, that's another team that's got to be on the radar to draft a running back.
Right.
Sure.
But I do think this team has some pieces to move forward in 2025 and compete again. You get a little younger at running back, a couple places. You're in good shape. You're young at quarterback. You got studs like Jefferson, Bowers, even Barkley for 1-2 more years. I think he can be at a high level. You got Devontae Smith. So I think you're in pretty good shape. You're just going to make some strategic deals to kind of continue to breathe some youth into this roster, and you'll be able to compete for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
What about on the Rams side?
Contributed our Rams.
They do have their first round pick in 2025. First, second, and fourth. They don't have a first in 2026, but they got 2 seconds, a third, and a fourth, and they got all their picks in 2027.
Well, they've still got Burrow and Chase, so that's a great core to start with, obviously. Yeah. Aaron Jones, at this point in his career, is going to continue to split carries more and more each year. And actually,
he's a free agent as well.
Actually, what I was saying about what I was saying about Jaylen Warren, I saw somebody post something that proposed that Aaron Jones be the one that ends up in Pittsburgh.
That'd be cool.
Splitting carries with Jaylen Warren when Najee leaves. But Ty Tracy, we'll see what happens with the Giants. But it's a pretty decent core.
Let's stay on Tracy for a second. What do you think happens with Tracy? Do you think he keeps that job? Do you think that John Mara's sitting there like, we really fucked up on Barkley, we got to go and kind of replace that guy with another stud?
I don't know.
That's what I'm worried about. I think Tracy should get the chance. They have so many other needs beyond a running back. Let's let Tracy do his thing. He's a cheap running back. He's a talented running back. He's an all-purpose guy. Why go invest? But I'm worried that they're looking at Saquon Barkley, what he's doing in Philadelphia, being like, we just gave up that guy. They're going to have some FOMO and be like, we got to go and try to get a replacement for him.
Right.
I would be surprised as a Giants fan if they went anywhere near running back this offseason. It's like the last thing we need, to be honest with you. And Tracy, as of this year, was more than serviceable for this offense. So I think he's surprised at least one more year.
They really need to scheme him like San Diego did with Eckler. Tracy's a wide receiver by trade first, and he just wasn't getting as many opportunities in the passing game as I would have expected.
Yeah,
when he first took over that job, and I think that's what's going to make him extra dangerous.
Let's just get him in a good offense. He's an explosive playmaker. I think if he has some good pieces around him and an efficient offense, he can be really dangerous. All right. Any other things to stand out to you about this team before we move on? What are we going to do moving into 2025?
Not much. Just overall, I still think it's in pretty good shape. He's not aging out too badly anywhere. Unless you count Russell, he's going to need a quarterback.
Sure.
In this draft for sure. But yeah, overall, he's got a good mix of young players and a couple guys that are, just scoring like crazy right now. So I think he'll be right back in the playoffs next season.
Is Tyreek Hill done? He's gonna bounce back. Tyreek Hill gonna bounce back, or is he dead?
Wasn't he supposed to retire by now?
He gave us 3 more years, 3 years ago. Yeah.
Technically, he is, but now apparently he's out with the Dolphins, so I guess that leaves his future up to question, which is a little scary for any roster owner.
It's just that they still didn't find the mojo when Tua came back. So there's something's broken. It's broken.
Well, the quarterback is kind of not that great. So.
Right.
All right. Well, let's move on. Let's go out to the standings and start at the bottom. We'll start with the Jacksonville Jaguars, work our way up, go through the rest of these teams, kind of look ahead to 2025. Jaguars finished in 10th place. They are 4-11. Quarterback, they got Drake May, they got Travis Etienne, Jonathan Taylor, Marvin Harrison Jr., Drake London, Brian Thomas Jr., Sam Laporta, Tank Bigsby, and then on the bench they got Sam Darnold, Zach Charbonnet, Kamani Vidal, Xavier Leggett, Parker Washington, Jake Ferguson, Brenton Strange, a man named Sincere McCormick, And then they got Trevor Lawrence, Kenneth Walker, and Brandon Ayuk. Got a lot of draft picks, though. A lot of draft picks for this team, but we can get to the roster first before we touch on that. What do you guys think? What stands out?
Well, and not only that, he won the toilet bowl, if I'm not mistaken. So I believe that means he gets to pick first.
Well, does he have his own pick?
Yeah, he does.
Perfect. Excellent.
I know we said we weren't going to talk about draft picks right away. I guess I won't do it yet. But addressing the roster, for a team that finished in last place, though, this team's really not in last place because they won the toilet bowl. But it's not in bad shape. You got young, promising guys. You got Drake London, Marvin Harrison, Brian Thomas, Sam Laporta. Drake May even, I think, has a little bit more upside. This team's not in bad shape. And on top of that, they have the first and third pick to add 2 more guys in this offseason.
This is going to be a worst to first.
Potentially. We can get there. I can see it.
I mean, if everything bounces the right way.
Especially if you use these draft picks wisely, you don't have to use them all on rookies. You can kind of, draft a couple guys, trade a few, package things together. It's a lot of flexibility with the way this team is built to kind of make a quick turnaround. What do you guys think about Marvin Harrison Jr.? Bust? Is he going to bounce back? What's going on with him?
I think he'll be fine. I think there's just way too much nowadays because a couple receivers blew up their first year. There's just way too much of everybody expecting like the guy with all the talent to blow up right away. And frankly, I don't think Kyler's very good. So, and I know I'm in the minority on that.
He was out there. Marvin Harrison Jr. got a lot of cardio in this year, running a lot of wind sprints on the sideline, anti-calorie routes. Yeah. And I think a lot of that is, Kyler isn't, he's not a difference-making quarterback, but he's a competent quarterback. But I think a lot of it might be, the way they used him. They didn't give him a lot of those easy routes, those short stuff, get the ball in his hands type of routes. I mean, he's not really that type of guy, but at least get the ball in his hands. And he didn't have anybody on the other side. He obviously had Trey McBride, but as far as wide receivers, it's Marvin Harrison Jr., and then it's such a drop-off to Michael Wilson and Greg Dortch. Yeah. So all the number one cornerbacks are following Marvin Harrison Jr. around. So if we can get another weapon on the other side, it doesn't have to be anybody, a star, but somebody who actually is, a worthy number 2, number 3 option in an offense, and maybe things can start to happen for Marvin Harrison Jr. I do think he's never going to be the guy that he was hyped up to be coming out. I think that's pretty clear at this point. But can he still be, a notch below that and still be a high-end wide receiver in the NFL? Absolutely.
I still think he can be that guy. But like you said, I think they need to change the way that they deploy him. When you've got cornerback and a safety following you, you can't just run Madden routes. Right. You know what I mean? You can't just run straight down the sideline because it's way too easy for a corner to stay with you and a safety to come over top. And I like what you said about how he's not really that guy, but at least put him in the slot a couple times. Yeah. You know what I mean? Get him on a couple crossing patterns and just see if he breaks one tackle, he can outrun everybody. I mean, his legs are 8 feet long. So, I still think he can be that guy. I really do. I would not declare him anything less until after next season.
Well, no matter what happens, he will always have that one quarter against the Rams.
Right. Now that you move on to hang your hat on.
Well,
let's talk about the draft picks.
I was going to say, before we move on,
yeah,
I gotta correct myself because it's not 1 and 3, it's 1, 2, and 3.
That's insane.
So that's this year, and then following, you still got 3 firsts in 2026.
Yeah,
4 firsts in 2027.
That's insane. And on top of the 3 firsts this year, he's also got 2 seconds.
Yep.
There's no excuse. No excuse that this team isn't in the playoffs at least next year.
Yeah.
Should be.
Don't fuck it up.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like gosh, I mean, it almost seems like you got to take one of each skill position. You know what I mean? Because he could use another quarterback, he could use a running back, and he could use a wide receiver, although that's not as necessary. Yeah, because they only start one flex, so
right.
But you get a running back to replace ETN. Jonathan Taylor's got another year in him. Drake London seems to get along with Penix okay, and Brian Thomas Jr. We agree he's going to be a stud, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
If he's not already.
My advice to this kid, though, if he's taking any, is at some point in time, this roster is going to be oversaturated with value. I think right now, as you're already in last place, might be time to get rid of some guys if you want to. If I'm honest with you, like if you wanted to move on from like a Jonathan Taylor when you're bringing in Gene T or somebody like along those lines, wouldn't be the worst thing in the world just to kind of combine some guys and get a more elite skill player. Although the team's young, it lacks like a standout piece.
Yeah, unless you consider, I'll consider Brian Thomas Jr. and Drake London standout pieces at this point. But as far as running backs go,
that's fair.
As far as running backs go, he definitely doesn't have that guy.
No,
for sure. But also got Kenneth Walker coming back. I know Sam's a huge fan of Kenneth Walker.
Huh?
I said, I know you're a huge Kenneth Walker guy.
I don't hate Kenneth Walker.
He's always
Are you insinuating I dislike him?
Yeah.
No.
I feel like you're always, every time we talk about Kenneth Walker, you got some type of comment about his
He's always hurt. Kenneth Walker's always hurt.
You were right about that one. He ended up hurt quite a bit this year. All right. Any last thoughts before we move on to the Buffalo Bills?
Good.
Let's do it.
Buffalo Bills, 9th place, 5-10. Of course, they're quarterbacked by Josh Allen. We got Chase Brown, Joe Mixon, Jordan Addison, Quentin Johnston, Roma Dunze, Hunter Henry, Keon Coleman. On the bench, we got Anthony Richardson, RIP, Eric Gray, Khalil Herbert, Roschon Johnson, Ricky Pearsall, Evan Ingram, Dalton Kincaid, Jalen Waddle, Chris Godwin, Stephon Diggs, and of course, 2 kickers, 2 defenses. What stands out?
I'm pretty sure this is the team that I picked.
This is the team that you picked. You should be ashamed of yourself.
I mean, maybe it was 4-1 at that point before all the injuries happened.
Everybody forgot about that if you did, and now you just brought it back up. Why would you do that to yourself?
But also, although at the same time, I have a hard time believing I would choose any team that rosters Anthony Richardson. Because I hate Anthony Richardson.
At least he's got Josh Allen.
Another
but just on merit alone, like, you know what I mean? I'd be like, well, I'm not picking them. They got Anthony Richardson. He's bad mojo.
All right. Well, what else stands out to you besides Anthony Richardson? Anything?
What's the board? Shit.
What'd you say?
I don't know who was talking to either one of us, but I mean, I'll be honest with you. I hate saying this about rosters. I don't love this.
It's pretty gross.
I don't like it. I don't like it. On top of that, you don't have a first. Oh, never mind. I'm looking at the wrong team. Yeah, they got first. Okay. I was looking at the past team. They're going to have to hit on these draft picks, man, because a lot of these guys are a little route. Don't love Quentin Johnston. Keon Coleman. He had some flashes, but I don't know about him long term.
Yeah.
Nah.
He is.
So, I mean, the glaring obvious here is Josh Allen is great to roster. Rebuild, winning contender, doesn't matter. He's somebody you want to roster. So at least he has Josh Allen. Outside of that, not a whole lot of exciting pieces.
How do we feel about the outlook of Rome Odunze?
Ben Johnson makes it interesting. You imagine Keenan Allen's probably out next year, so it'll be DJ Moore and Rome Odunze as the 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like what they did with Jameson and Amon-Ra. He had a clear 1 and a clear 2, but Jameson Williams was still productive. I think he went for over 1,000 yards this year. So as long as Caleb Williams can stay upright, they adjust that offensive line, I think Rome Odunze can have a good amount of progress in 2025.
Yeah, he showed flashes. I think he showed me enough to feel really good that he's still the guy that I thought he was coming out of Washington last year. There were several weeks where he led that team in targets, led that team in receiving yards. Even if the totals weren't, through the roof, he was still the number one guy in multiple games during the year. That's pretty encouraging to me. We saw a guy 2 years ago, Jackson Smith-Njigba, kind of a similar depth chart situation when he came into the league, and he had an even worse year than Rome Odunze did as a rookie, and he broke out in his second year. Obviously, completely different types of players, but I think Rome Odunze can make a similar step in year 2. If Keenan Allen moves on somewhere else, I think he could do it even if Keenan Allen comes back. At some point, he can overtake Keenan Allen.
Sure.
Obviously, it would be more difficult in that situation, but I'm with you on Keon Coleman. I was never a Keon Coleman guy.
Yeah, it's here and there he's all right, but I don't love him for consistency.
All right. Draft picks. We got 2 firsts in 2025. We got 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Where in the draft order is he selecting?
So he's the Bills. Bills have the 4 pick, and the Ravens have 10 pick. So,
all right, I can work with that.
One high, one low.
Yeah, I mean, at least one of those picks. I mean, one of those picks could be a receiver. One of those picks could be a running back. And all of a sudden, we at least got some type of piece here.
Sure.
I'm not sure that this team is going to make the same type of leap that we were predicting for the Jaguars to make. I think we got a little bit more to work with.
Yeah.
A little more work to do, I should say. But at least you're in good shape draft pick wise. Do have some young talent, and you got Josh Allen. Build around Josh Allen.
Yeah.
All right.
Let me ask
last
you this.
words?
Would you, with the issues that Richardson has had, do you spend one of those first round draft picks on a quarterback?
No, not in a single quarterback league. No.
Oh, is it really?
Is it 1 QB?
Yeah.
Oh, geez, I thought it was super flex down there.
No, that's a regular flex.
Okay, my bad. Then you don't.
Okay, well that answers my question.
Yeah. Well, that makes the other kid that has 1, 2, and 3 even more valuable with those picks. Yeah. Wow, they could just run down the line for the position players.
All right, let's move on to the. Hold on, we got to navigate fan tracks here real quick. Can we? 2 things this league needs to do in the offseason as a league, as a culture. We need to move off of fan tracks, and we need to move the championship game up to week 17. It's a must. Go to sleeper. Damn, I'll even take NFL over this.
I'll switch your league over if you need me to. Just contact me. I'll do it for you.
This is like playing a league on like Flea Flicker or something. Sucks. All right. We got Seahawks at 6 and 9. They got Jaden Daniels at quarterback, Kareem Hunt at running back with Javonte Williams, Jerry Jeudy, Terry McLaurin, Darnell Mooney at wide receiver, George Kittle at tight end. We got the aforementioned Keenan Allen. On the bench, we got Justin Fields, Tua Tagovailoa, Raheem Mostert, Rashad is good, Bateman, DJ Chark, Alan Lazard, Austin Eckler, Mike Gesicki, and Antonio Gibbs. That bench is pretty brutal, man. That bench is rough. And it gets worse when you go down to draft picks. This team is.
Somebody say something positive other than Jaden Daniels. Quick.
Yeah, we got Jaden Daniels. We feel good about that. You start at the top. You just look at Jaden Daniels. You scroll to the next team. You feel good about it.
Just look at Jaden Daniels and everything past that. It just cover your eyes. It's
Don't
fine.
scroll down. Don't scroll down.
He's got Jaden and Terry.
Right. Jaden Daniels, best rookie season of all time. Is he going to be the first rookie quarterback to start a Super Bowl?
No. Love to see it.
No?
I'd love to see it.
No. Okay. All right. I thought we'd have a little more. So after the Lions game,
and that Eagles, nobody is talking about that Eagles secondary. They talked about him all season, and now all of a sudden, all they can talk about is Jaden Daniels. And if Quinyon Mitchell is in that game, he's going to have a hard time throwing the ball.
Nope.
After that Lions game, I said Jaden Daniels and the Commanders they're going to win. They're going to go to the Super Bowl. They'll lose in the Super Bowl, but they're going to win in the championship game. After watching that Eagles team, after watching with Saquon Barkley, I don't think the Commanders can hold up for 4 quarters against Saquon Barkley the way he's been playing and the way that offensive line is playing. Even with a banged-up Jalen Hurts, I think Jalen Hurts is fine. Anyway, what else? What are we going to do with this team? We have a lot of work to do. Running back is brutal. Receiver, we got McLaurin, but he's going to be, 30 next year? Kittle is already in his 30s.
Yeah,
he's going to be 32. The bench, there's no hope on the bench. There's nobody that I can point to and be like, oh, at least we got this young guy coming up.
Right.
This is so far and probably will be the last thing I'm worried the most about. That last team wasn't great, but they had draft picks. This team, not great, doesn't have draft picks. I just want to know what the draft picks went to, like how long ago they went. Like I just don't see guys that are worth first on this roster. If I'm honest with you, I think this is.
Did he deal first for Lazard? Like,
if I remember correctly, this is the first year that this team did dynasty.
Oh, God bless them.
So I think they really undervalued some draft picks and traded a ton out into future years because we're not only do we not have any first or seconds in 2025, we have no first or second in 2026. We have no first in 2027. Where did it go to? Do we just give all of our picks? Do we do like a Ricky Williams deal to get Jaden Daniels?
That's the only thing that makes
sense. How long has this league been a league? Maybe he had inherited an orphan.
Yeah, but I just said this is their first year doing dynasty, so they wouldn't have even had those draft picks before this year if they're just doing redraft leagues. Unless I'm wrong, but I was
trying to do the guy a solid and say
ton of years
somebody threw the pooch, got rid of all draft picks, and quit the league.
Well, I would quit this team.
Maybe he should quit the league because he's got no hope.
No hope.
Yeah, well, I mean, unfortunately, what you usually look for is guys that have some sort of value for a contender.
Number 5.
And nobody's going to trade you for Antonio Gibson or Lazard or Chark or probably even Gesicki. So you're just going to end up making some
they got to pay up
cuts.
Pay up on Jaden Daniels. You got to sell him, put him on the block.
Right.
Throw him up. It's a 1 QB league. You can find another quarterback in the future. Right now, that's the best player you got on your team. Get whatever value you can squeeze out of Jaden Daniels.
And then
four firsts.
And then when you get to August, September, you can start to sell some of these older guys off, like a George Kittle, Aaron McLaurin, maybe Keenan Allen, and hope that by 2030 you're a playoff contender.
Yeah, I'm surprised Kittle is still on this team right now, because there had to be people knocking on the door asking about him when the playoffs were coming up.
True.
So I don't know why he wasn't moved.
Incompetent manager.
On another note, wherever Keenan Allen lands, as soon as he does land in his landing spot, I would trade him for whatever you can get out of Keenan Allen. Because you figure anytime a guy gets traded or signed to a new team, value goes up a little bit. I think that would be your only winner to sell Keenan Allen.
I have a feeling he's about to become my neighbor. He's going to be a Patriot.
What, you think so?
I think he might. I could see that. They're not going to – there's no way in the world that they're spending up for T. Higgins. So we're going to get Keenan Allen. That's going to be the big high-priced free agent this offseason. All right, let's move on.
Yep.
I could see it because I could see Stephon Diggs going to the Giants.
No need. No need.
Seahawks. That's 6-9. Oh wait, that was the Seahawks. Hold up.
No, that's insane. Steelers.
Cowboys.
6-9
as well.
Nice.
Because CJ Stroud at quarterback, Bucky Irving, Tajay Spears, Nico Collins, Mike Evans, Cortland, age 29, breakout Sutton, TJ Hawkinson, Jamison Williams, and then on the bench we got Jerome Ford, Tony Pollard, Jacoby Myers, Cedric Tillman, Tucker Kraft, Rico Dowdle, Jalen McMillan, DJ Moore, and then we got on the IR spot we got Chubb, Hubbard, Goddard, and again, no first-round picks for the foreseeable future. What stands out to you about this team? How are we feeling about Bucky Irving?
Cool. Look, here's a hot take for you guys about Bucky Irving.
All right.
I think as of right now, and this is maybe a bold statement, but I say sell high right now. I could see Bucky being in a situation kind of like it was with James Robinson or some of these guys that kind of like have a few good seasons and then sputter out. I sadly think Bucky can be one of those guys. I think right now, if you roster him, if you can get him for the right value, I would look to move him if I'm 100% honest. But I'd say he looks great out there, but I just don't know if he has staying power in the league.
I'm okay with that. I mean, he's an undersized running back who probably is never going to be, a full, bell cow type of guy, 25 touch a game type of guy. He's always going to share a backfield, whether it's with Rachaad White or another running back. They're about to lose their offensive coordinator. Who knows what happens with that offense? Who knows what happens with the way they're using the running backs when the new guy comes in making decisions? I think Bucky Irving, he's gonna have a good career. He's a good running back. But there's definitely risk that this is the high point as far as his dynasty value. So I wouldn't push back against that.
I think the description of Bucky Irving pretty aptly describes how I feel about this team. This is a very vanilla team. You know what I mean? There's nobody just jumping off the screen at me. But there's also nobody that's really, really bad. Like, why are you even rostering that guy?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It just feels like it feels like a team you want to engineer a package with and make a splash and get somebody that you're going to count on every week to put up, like big numbers, like a top 4 wide receiver or a top 4 running back. And build kind of around that person because you're not going to get rid of any of these guys, I don't think. So why not package a couple of them together? Because you could even use your bench here. Package a couple of them together and get somebody that'll make a little bit more of a splash on that team that you can lean on.
Sure.
Or even an upgraded quarterback over CJ.
This is one of the better benches that we have seen. There's been a couple of rough benches that we've seen so far. This one at least has talent from top to bottom.
Yeah.
I even like Jalen McMillan on the bench there. I think he's got a solid career ahead of him.
There's a chance.
But no, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I think this roster has no bright spots. I mean, I think C.J. Stroud can bounce back. I like the connection between Nico and Stroud. I like the vision there. Didn't quite work out this year, but I think Stroud can bounce back.
Yeah, I think he can. He is, your typical, high end pocket passer. They're gonna give you years in fantasy football where they're pushing top 5. They're also gonna give you years where they're maybe not even in the top 12.
Yeah,
we've seen it with Joe Burrow. Maybe not outside the top 12, but we've seen Joe Burrow have these elite seasons, but he's also had these kind of mid seasons as far as fantasy production. Just because he doesn't give you that rushing production, that rushing floor that keeps his fantasy value up. With the Lamars and like Jalen Hurts and the Josh Allens of the world.
He did a little this year, and so did Stroud, actually. Started picking up there at the end of the season, showing off his legs a little bit, because before that, I mean, he was just a statue back there. And it was like, well, he's not worth having in fantasy unless you can count on him to throw for 35 touchdowns. And you certainly can't. But I do think I think this year is the C.J. Stroud we're going to see more often than not. I'm not saying he's going to be a whole hell of a lot better than that. He's not going to set any records when he gets his contract.
Yeah. All right. Draft pick situation is not great. So we do have a second, 2/3, and a fourth this year, and we have a second, third, and fourth in 2026, second, third, and fourth in 2027, but we don't have a first anytime until 2028. I mean, are we concerned about that? Because we talked about how this team, other than maybe Nico Collins, doesn't have like that difference-making player. I don't know how we're going to acquire that, because we got Mike Evans, who's 31. We got Cortland Sutton, who's 29. We really don't have an RB2 on this team, unless you think Tony Pollard's going to have another year like he just did. Maybe we got Chuba Hubbard. We do have Chuba Hubbard. I think Chuba Hubbard can give you a decent year in 2025.
Yeah.
At least. I don't know. Any last thoughts? Any last words on this team? I think this could be.
I don't know. I think I would probably go in this draft hoping that a quarterback value fell to me, not because I have to have one, but because any running back or wide receiver that I draft in those rounds is gonna just mix in perfectly with the guys that are already here. It's not going to be somebody that comes in and moves one of these guys out of the starting lineup. But it's going to be a guy you're not going to be able to drop either, because he's, learning the ropes. I don't know. I think I'd be watching quarterback to see if some value falls, considering it doesn't look like a lot of people are going to be drafting quarterbacks.
There aren't going to be many quarterbacks to draft.
Yeah, I was going to say 202. If you're looking at it in a one QB standpoint, you're probably looking at Cam Ward there.
Right.
Well, he's got second and multiple thirds. The second and third rounds of rookie drafts this year, at least looking at it right now, they're looking like they're going to be pretty rich for running back talent. Yeah. Maybe you can find the next Bucky Irving, find the next Tyrone Tracy in those rounds. I think that's what I would be hoping for.
It's going to depend on landing spots too, because this year everybody kind of skipped over the running backs because they got committed back to saying, okay, running backs can last a little longer than we initially thought. Like when everybody started saying at 25 your career was done. But adding one more year of tread to those tires, now they're already like, but we better be ready for when he starts to break down.
Well, speaking of rookie running backs, one strategy I'm putting out there this year is I want to go trade for these failed 2024 rookie running backs. I want to go trade for Blake Corum. I want to go trade for Trey Benson. some of these guys who, they're still going to be handcuffs. They're going to be pure handcuffs, but you got James Conner, who somehow made it through an entire season healthy for the first time in his career. Who knows if that's going to happen?
An article about him. That's why.
You have no idea how many times I said on articles, videos, whatever, wherever I was, James Conner has never made it through an entire, and of course he does. So we got to go trade for Trey Benson. These are cheap guys. You can get these guys thrown into deals. They're not going to cost you anything.
You got Jalen Wright.
Jalen, yes, exactly. He's another one put on that list. Mostert on his way out. Devon Achane is like this small. What happened? You're gonna continue to give him a ton of carries. At some point, he's gonna break down. We've already seen it a couple times with him.
Right.
And maybe Jalen Wright stinks. Maybe he stinks, but
he's good.
Maybe he's good. Who knows? We don't really know.
He's good. He's a friend of mine. I talked to him.
He's certainly explosive enough to be a difference maker. And he's cheap. Go get him. All right. Any last thoughts before we move on?
No, I think you handled it.
All right. Green Bay Packers 6-8-1. You don't see many ones at the end of these records in fantasy football these days. This is Michelle. We got Justin Herbert at quarterback, Devon Achane, Bijan Robinson, DK Metcalf, Malik Neighbors, Jaden Reed. This team actually is the first one with some talent. Trey McBride, Breece Hall. On the bench, we got Jordan Love, Mr. Ray Davis, Alexander Madison. There's Jalen Wright, Amari Cooper, Josh Palmer, Mike Williams, Braylon Allen, Cole Kmet. And then we got in the IR spot, A.J. Dillon, Jonathan Mingo. We still got Chris Olave sitting there. We got Trey Benson. We got Marshawn Lloyd. So if you want any of these running backs, you got to go to Michelle.
Essentially.
All right. So this team has.
I think this roster has a pretty great start to it. Still maintains their first through 2027.
Yeah.
Sitting in the 6th spot this year. With looking to add to that. I like it. The bench is a little weak, but the starting roster. Achane, Robinson, Neighbors, McBride, Hall. Love it. Love the quarterbacks. Seems on the up and up.
I am offended that you called this bench weak.
I mean, I don't love Amari Cooper anymore. Don't love Madison. Mike Williams and Braylon Allen, just a handcuff, and I hate Cole Kmet.
All right. But I am a handcuff hoarder, and we've got Ray Davis, Jalen Wright, Braylon Allen, Trey Benson, and Marshawn Lloyd. This is like my dream team.
He said, "Give me all the handcuff running backs."
All the handcuffs.
Not to mention Alexander Madison.
Yeah, no. We don't have to mention. We don't have to mention Alexander Madison.
Shout out. Never mind. Thoughts gone.
But we even have
winning me a championship this year.
Oh, wait! I remember. Wait a second. Hold on. I remember me and Sam did a start-sit show. It was a championship week, and you popped in the chat. And I'm pretty sure we told you not to start Alexander or Amir.
Zach Ertz. No, you told me not. No, you told me. Yeah, I think Abdullah was the play, but that wasn't the same. Not different league. Different league.
Oh, okay.
I did start Zach Ertz in that, and I did win that one too. But I had a really weak second flex in the league, and I just threw Amir Abdullah in there. I think he still got me 12 points, which is all I needed to win. So didn't turn out that bad.
All right, good. All right, so this starting lineup has some great talent on it.
Does.
I mean, what's our game plan for the offseason? I don't think there really needs to be a whole lot of sweeping changes.
Yeah.
No, I don't think there need to be a lot of changes. I think they definitely want to come out of the draft with one of the higher end wide receivers coming out because she's loaded at running back. But, Amari Cooper and Mike Williams are both 30.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's really just DK Metcalf, and everybody else is a really reasonable age. So why not get a wide receiver that you don't have to start right away, but you're taking high enough in the draft that they might be a starter when they walk into the NFL.
Yeah, at 6, you're looking at, I would imagine, probably Burden or Egbuka.
Yeah.
That spot. So good names to add to the roster.
Yeah.
And we still have Chris Olave in our pocket down there at the IR spot. All right.
But Chris Olave is useless.
Oh, well, he's not useless.
Yes,
he's useless when he's unconscious, but
which is usually.
Jesus.
No, he's not useless. He's not maybe what everybody wants him to be, but he can give you, a top 24 season, with a decent quarterback, maybe? Question mark.
Okay, when's that going to happen?
I don't know. I don't know.
You're in your crystal ball today?
No, I forgot it.
Oh, damn.
All right. Any last thoughts before we move on from this team?
I like
this team will be. Did they make the playoffs this year?
Just made it.
Just made it. So I think they will be better than just making it next year. I think if you play your cards right, if you stay healthy, you build this team properly. Heading into 2025, this team should be in the semifinals at worst. This should be a top 3, top 4 team.
Sure.
A serious championship contender if we do it right. All right. Moving up to the Denver Broncos, our first winning record, 8-7. Finish at 5th place. We got.
Do we know what the? I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm going back just a little bit. Do we know what the salary? Is there a salary cap?
I believe so.
Yeah, salary cap set at 300.
Michelle's team is the first one I've seen that's like 3 guys, are pushing 8 figures. And then just a whole bunch of cheap, a Chain's on a good contract, Jaden Reed, Trey McBride.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's not going to last that long, but I don't know if you get any bonus or if you get more room to make, ads during the season when somebody breaks out or whatever. It's just a side comment because every other roster I've seen is just loaded. I mean, one roster wasn't even full because he had so much spent.
Yeah. $300 million cap. Showing Michelle's got $61 million remaining. So I haven't really been paying that close attention, but I haven't seen many teams that are pushing the cap very hard.
None of them are that close. This team we're looking at right now, the Denver Broncos, though, they finished in what, 5th place, 8-7. Mm-hmm. They still have $90 million to work with, $96 million to work with.
Wow.
Not bad.
All right, so this team is quarterbacked by Lamar Jackson. We got Amir Abdullah, Najee Harris, Puka Nacua, Deebo Samuel, Christian Watson, RIP, Travis Kelce, Jonnu Smith, Caleb Williams on the bench, along with Alvin Kamara, Zamir White, Tank Dell, real RIP, Zay Flowers, Tyler Lockett, Xavier Worthy, Noah Fant, Damian Pierce, Jamal Williams, and then we got on the IR spot, J.K. Dobbins, Elijah Mitchell, David Montgomery. I couldn't think of the nickname. I was going to say it.
Jamal Williams.
All right, so I think this team is far worse than Michelle's team. Is that a hot take? No?
No. I'm good. Fine. I'm here for it.
I'm here for it, too.
I mean, Monty makes the roster look a little bit better. Kamara, if you add them in, makes it a little bit getting there. But as far as a dynasty roster goes, I'll take Michelle over this roster any day.
Yeah, I would too.
Despite Lamar being the quarterback, it's a great start.
for the foreseeable future, in fact.
Yeah.
Not even just like next season or this season.
Sure.
Yeah, we're pretty
rough. Falling off the ladder. Watson was a failed experiment. Tank Dell's probably not going to play meaningful football again. Najee Harris is
there's a lot of woulda, coulda on this team.
Yeah, exactly. I see the vision that they had. It just didn't quite work out the way they wanted it to.
Mm-hmm. There are a lot of old guys. Travis Kelce's 35.
Right. Yeah.
What do we got for draft pick situation here? We got all our picks.
All intact.
All our picks. So that means that either this team has been, responsibly managing their draft capital, or they are the laziest member of the league.
Right. It does not answer trade requests.
Judging based off the roster, I'd say they just are sitting dormant.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I'm just, don't think it's a winning roster, and yet you're still rostering guys like Travis Kelce and Deebo Samuel when you can maybe pitch them off. Do love Puka, though. Do love Puka there.
At least we got 2 kickers, though. All right. Yeah, I think the game plan with this team, we definitely need to get better at running back, but I'm going to target wide receiver first. I think we can. I like Zay Flowers a lot. Worthy is fine, but sure. I think Debo's on his way out. Christian Watson, we probably won't see until the end of 2025 at best, if he even plays next year. And even then, he's not going to give us anything. But yeah, I think I would start at wide receiver, even though I think running back's in worse shape. But I want to start by building my team around the wide receiver position.
Yeah.
And then we can kind of fill in a running back from there, because I have teams where I literally I put in all of my assets into a super flex league, for example. I want to be strong at wide receiver. I want to be strong at quarterback. I want to have a good tight end. And then I want to just take and just throw shit at the wall at running back. Just collect all of these, possibly could happen type of guys. That's how I ended up, with Chuba Hubbard. That's how you end up with, I don't even know. I can't even think of anybody else, but just stash these guys that could happen. And then, as you kind of work your way through the rebuild, then you can go and start investing in the running back position when the rest of your team is in place. And maybe hit on one of these, young, cheap stashes along the way.
Yeah.
This is that team that could go and just trade for a bunch of those, Blake Corums, Trey Benson's, like I mentioned earlier, and maybe Kyren Williams goes down and you have a league winner, Blake Corum, at some point, and you got him for nothing.
Yeah. I think especially if you have all your seconds intact, you can kind of start throwing those around, like fun bucks for some of these guys.
Well, yeah. A lot of Dynasty gamers. A lot of Dynasty gamers, especially people who are new to Dynasty, which it seems like this league is, based on the notes that we have and the roster constructions. A lot of people, they don't understand the real value of a second round pick. And sometimes you'll be able to get a pretty good deal on trading somebody for their second round pick, or trading your second round pick away to somebody who's going to overpay for it. But I think this year in particular, there's going to be a lot of value in the second round of rookie draft.
You say hold picks. Okay.
Yeah, potentially, or buy on, or
true.
Who knows? Just I don't know. Just
value all your picks.
I want second rounders this year. I would even take that first round pick, and maybe we could even trade back, get a package, get a second round pick as part of the deal. That's something I'm trying to do. All right. Are we ready to move on, or you got last?
I'm gonna take it one step further to what both of you guys said. I'm blowing this team up.
Oh, cool. Blow it up.
I'm blowing it up completely, because it's not good enough as far as the players' futures that it's going to contend anytime in the next 2, 3, 4 years, and so you're just going to keep sitting in the middle of the pack every season and getting a shady draft pick. And honestly, I'm talking about including Lamar Jackson in that. Like, I'd go down to Caleb Williams. I'd go down to like Caleb, Puka, maybe Xavier. And, maybe possibly J.K. Dobbins, but I would blow this up and just get so many draft picks over the next 2 years that by the third year, I'm right back where I was, but with more future to build with.
I'll stand on that take, but I will say, as far as roster constructions go, I always build a receiver much like Alex does. I would probably hold Puka, hold Flowers, and the rest can.
Oh, I didn't see Flowers there. Yeah.
But what are you really getting for a guy like Najee Harris, Alvin Kamara, Travis Kelce? I don't think you're going to get much for those types of guys.
You probably get a low end.
Whatever it is,
or a contender. Jackson's got a lot of value there.
So what you're saying, Sam, is you want to just sell for whatever you can get?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. I mean, obviously, for some of the players that are better, like Lamar, you want to get a king's ransom. If this person talked to the person that had CJ Stroud that we said could upgrade a quarterback, maybe they get CJ Stroud back and another first-round draft pick for Lamar.
I don't even know if I would even have interest in getting a quarterback back for Lamar. If we're going to blow it up, let's just ride with Caleb. Let's just see what he's got and just go all in at running back, wide receiver, draft picks.
The only reason you might, though, is because you could turn around and try to flip CJ Stroud to somebody else for another pick.
I think it's a little bit harder to trade quarterbacks like that in a league like this where it's 10 teams, one quarterback.
Right.
But, it's at least, a strategy to explore.
Yeah, I agree with it. But, obviously I would demand more for the guys I know are worth more. And I would hold on to some guys that I think are going to be worth more during the season. Travis Kelce won't be valuable until halfway through the season when somebody's tight end goes down, as long as it's not him.
Right. I think what you're touching on is we may have to be patient with blowing it up. We may have to wait until August, September, October to really sell, Kamara, Kelce, some of these higher end, older players who are really more value to, a contender in that year, because those types of guys, once that season ended, their value plummeted because they're of a certain age, and you're not going to get the full. I think you're not going to get the full value back in return for them. So if you sit and you wait, you say, all right, beginning of 2025, I'm going to start shopping these guys. When guys start getting injured, I'm going to send them Kamara. When a tight end gets injured, I'm going to send them Travis Kelce. When someone's quarterback gets injured, I'm going to sell them.
Once again, though, it comes back to the fact that this is a 10-team league. So I'm sure I'm surprised we've even seen this many trades considering how deep the rosters are. But, I think there's room to do both. Do I think you could move Deebo Samuel for a 2025? I do.
2025 what?
What's that?
A 2025 what? Second?
I don't know. May 2nd.
Okay. All right. That's fair. I think you can do that. You can pull it off. I mean, I'm not saying don't explore it. Just if you can get it, you can. But I think you can maximize the value of some of these guys when it's actual in season.
I agree, and you just have to identify which ones are which ones are the ones you want to hold on to and sell later, and which ones you can try to move right now because you think they might decline in value once the season starts or once they sign with another team.
Right. And Deebo, I think, is in danger of not being a 49er next year.
Sure.
All right. So we did talk about the Rams already. They were the 4th place team as far as regular season standings. They fell short in the championship week 18 round. So let's move on to the Pittsburgh Steelers. They finished in 3rd at 9-6. We got Jared Goff at quarterback, Jahmyr Gibbs, Ramondre Stevenson at running back. Then we go down to Romeo Doubs, Michael Pittman, Jackson Smith and Jigba At tight end, we got Dalton Schultz, and we got Rachaad White in the flex spot. On the bench, we got Brock Purdy, Aaron Rodgers, Demario Douglas, DeAndre Hopkins, CeeDee Lamb, David Njoku, Kobe Parkinson, Ty Chandler, Gus Edwards, T. Higgins. In the IR spot, we got Rashid Shaheed. What stands out to you about this team?
I think this team's running solely off of Gibbs, JSN's breakout season, and CeeDee Lamb, if I'm honest with you. And I think the reason they fell off in the playoffs is because they lost CeeDee Lamb, if I'm 100% honest. Well, but outside of that, receiving room, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, me
outside
too.
of Pittman. But need running back here pretty badly. Gibbs is great, but Stevenson, I think Rachaad White all but lost his job to Bucky Irving going forward. Even if so, they're still splitting carries. I think running back's the glaring need here. I think you needed 2 alongside Gibbs.
Quick question: do you think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be the 1.01 in redraft leagues next year?
It's gonna be close. I still think it'd probably be Chase.
Yeah.
Coming off of a hot season, people are still going to be high on him. But I think Gibbs will be in the conversation for sure.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I agree with you. I think receiver, you're in really good shape with
yeah, I love the receivers.
Jackson Smith-Njigba and CeeDee Lamb and T. Higgins. I mean, we'll see what happens with T. Higgins in free agency. I don't know if he's going to – I mean, he's not going to have a quarterback like Joe Burrow anymore, but he's also not going to have Jamar Chase on the other side either.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm this team, I'm just going hard on running backs in this draft. And maybe if you get a nice value on a tight end.
You even got Rashid Shaheed sitting there on the IR spot as well.
Yeah.
And we got all our draft picks.
Because I Njoku and Parkinson and Schultz, that's like a trio where you're never going to start the right one anyway. So why not draft somebody young and hope it turns into a Bowers or even half of a Bowers? But yeah, I agree. I agree with Ryan. Running back is huge need here.
Yeah. Half of a Bowers would be like the tight end too.
Yeah, right.
What about quarterback? I think this team could afford to upgrade a quarterback potentially, and we got a $53 million Jared Goff. Is this the team? Is this the team that goes and trade? We talked about the other team that we said they should sell Jaden Daniels. Is this team in a spot where maybe they could go buy a Jaden Daniels? Maybe get out of that Jared Goff contract, get a nice cheap quarterback.
I mean, 100%. They have the picks in place. They have all their picks, so they want to make a move. I'm just saying.
I mean, I don't know if that's something I want to prioritize in a one quarterback league, but it's certainly something I would at least look into.
For sure.
All right.
Give him Goff and Purdy for Williams.
Don't take that deal.
That way he's got the guy for right now, and he's got a younger guy to go down the line.
Yeah. But no, I still maybe don't touch quarterback just yet. I still think RB2 is probably the number one need here.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with Ramondre. He might be toast.
Right.
Well, you just signed that contract, but it's like every other week they can't decide like what's going on. And
he was a fumbling machine.
Yeah,
a fumbling machine, and the coaches were. And well, that does give me some hope of maybe we do get a bounce back from Ramondre. Is one, hopefully they're going to go spend in free agency on offensive line. They're going to end up with some weapons at receiver. We're going to have a second-year leap from Drake May, but they also have competent coaching. Maybe no, they're not, exceptional coaching, but we got competent coaching, which they very much lacked in 2024. We have adults in the room now making those types of decisions. So that does leave some hope for Ramondre.
Here's the thing that drives me nuts about Ramondre. So he was a fumbling machine, but you're telling me they never saw any of that in practice or anything like that before they gave him a 3-year contract?
Well, they're also replacing.
Or is it just that he's got all the $100 bills in his hand now and the ball keeps squirting out?
The funniest thing is they're replacing or they're benching fumbling machine Ramondre Stevenson with Antonio Gibson, who through his entire career has been a fumbling
machine.
Yeah. I think anybody that drafts Antonio Gibson has already fumbled.
Yeah. All right. We good with this team?
Yep. Last team, I think.
Yeah, on to the one team that doesn't name themselves off of a NFL franchise. This is
team that was going to win it all.
This team went rogue. Second place in the regular season standings, 9-5-1. This is Mr. No Prisoners from Maryland, I'm assuming. Is that MD Maryland? Yeah. Or is this like a medical doctor?
Yeah, I think it's Dr. Mr. Take No Prisoners.
Dr. Mr. No Prisoners.
That's the official team name. So we're going with Baker Mayfield at quarterback. We got James Cook, Derrick Henry, AJ Brown.
Sorry.
Oh, we do have
What did you say?
Jalen Hurts is QB. Sorry, I had to stop that before I went any further.
We did have Jalen Hurts. We also got Baker Mayfield. Did Baker Mayfield outscore Jalen Hurts this year? I'm not sure. He might have.
Oh, good question. He might have.
Cook, Henry, AJ Brown, Jawan Jennings, Khalil Shakir, Pat Fryermuth, Amon-Ra St. Brown. We got on the bench, we got Derek Carr, already mentioned Jalen Hurts, Tyler Algier, Jonathan Brooks. We'll see you in 2026. Blake Corum, Deontay, can't stay on a field, can't stay on a team. And Johnson, Alec Pierce, Garrett Wilson, Cade Otton, and Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts is, I don't know.
He haunts rosters more than any other player.
Yeah, he does. This could be the year. 2025 is going to be the year.
Keep holding him. We got Kirk Cousins. It's fine. Next year it'll be, we got Michael Penix. It's going to be fine.
One of these days.
Talking about my boy Kyle Pitts?
He's only 20.
It's coming next year, man.
Next year at Penix. That's the year.
Maybe he's David Njoku, who just takes a few extra years to break out. I mean, he broke out as a rookie. He's more productive.
How dare you compare him to David Njoku?
I've been the anti-Kyle Pitts guy from day one, and now I am actively searching to acquire Kyle Pitts in Dynasty Leagues because I think everybody has given up on him, and I'm going to hold a little light for him. I'll leave the light on for Kyle Pitts and maybe go acquire him for cheap. See what happens.
For cheap, I'm okay with. But...
I mean, we talk about tight ends all the time. Up until the last 2 years, when we have Sam Laporta and Brock Bowers doing it as rookies, tight ends take a long time to break out. This guy's only 24 years old. Why not?
Yeah.
All right. What else stands out to you about this team? Running back needs some help. No. I guess I still have a blind spot for James Cook.
It's a good team.
Yeah, it's a good team. Yeah.
It's a good team. It's a crummy bench. Well, it's not crummy. You got Garrett Wilson down there.
It's not bad.
Well, I think Garrett Wilson's going to be a starter over like a
underperformed, but that was probably more Rodgers' fault.
Sadly.
Brooks isn't going to be back probably till 27.
Yeah, we're not going to see Brooks for a while. Let's go back to Garrett Wilson for a second. What is his quarterback situation going to be next year? Is it going to be any better than Aaron Rodgers? Is it going to be Aaron Rodgers? Is he going to get traded?
I don't know that they'll trade him. I know that people were talking about that. I just don't see how you trade a 24-year-old wide receiver who was regarded for one of the best in the league and is making less than $10 million a year right now, and you haven't given him any reason to ask for more money because Rodgers was so intent on trying to throw the ball to Devontae the whole time. Well, I mean, he still had flashes, but
how does that quarterback situation change this year? I don't see it drastically changing. I don't think they're going to be able to draft a quarterback. And if they do, there's really not a whole lot to be excited about in the draft. You're gonna go sign Kirk Cousins.
I think best case scenario, it's probably Sam Darnold.
Maybe you think the Jets are gonna go back to Sam Darnold? I don't know if they're gonna bring him back.
Who knows? I'm saying that's probably best case. I mean, he's probably not with the Vikings next year.
I don't think Minnesota's going to let Sam Darnold walk.
They will.
I don't know. Listening to Kevin O'Connell.
What about Russell Wilson? What about Russell Wilson?
Doesn't give me a whole lot of.
Yeah, that doesn't inspire me. I don't know. Justin Fields could be the Jets quarterback next year.
That'd be interesting.
I think that
Russell Wilson.
Yeah, I don't know, but then it's like, all right, well, the Steelers moving on from Russell Wilson. Are they over his antics?
Who knows?
I don't know.
They don't seem too high on field either.
Yeah,
so
they're going to go. The Steelers are going to go get Cousins and let Wilson go, and Wilson's going to go to the Jets.
You're just playing the same record over and over again. They're just doing the same thing with a different guy.
Yeah.
But that's the problem with the Steelers.
I'm not the one making the moves. I'm just telling you what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put it past them. That's why they are where they are in the quarterback situation, because they're going to continue to be that 9-8 team, that 10-7 team every year that squeaks into the playoffs, gets destroyed in round one. It's picking, pick 20. They can't get up there to get a impactful quarterback, so they're stuck with drafting a guy like Kenny Pickett if they're going to draft a quarterback. They're never going to have a quarterback if they keep playing this game. They got to just take a year, tank it in the ground.
What about Jameis?
Ooh, that would be fun.
Don't give me Jameis Williams.
Jameis Williams and George.
I swear to God, I'll go all night. That's my guy.
Jameis Williams and George Pickens would be pretty fun.
They're going to trade George Pickens.
All right. Ooh. All right. Well, maybe that's part of the rebuild. Maybe they tear that thing down, trade George Pickens, trade TJ Watt, just tear it down, blow it up, tank it, and pick in the top 5 next year and get a real quarterback.
Tank for Arch?
Yeah, there you go. That's the plan.
I would say that I'm very against them getting rid of TJ Watt though. TJ Watt. That's rough. You hold your mans.
Well, then you can slide in at 8 and 9 and pick at 16 next year out of the range of quarterback.
You're kind of right, but
well, all right. We'll tell him to take the year off. Sit on the bench. You sit over there. We'll pay you to sit there and do nothing. All right. Let's get back to this team. What are we doing with this team? Do we have a plan for this team moving into 2025? We got all our draft picks. We're in pretty good shape across the board.
Honestly,
we're rich at quarterback. I think we can get another year out of James Cook and Derrick Henry at running back if we need to. We're pretty good shape at receiver with A.J. Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think I saw a guy on the bench as well. Oh, yeah, Garrett Wilson. We just talked about him. You get year 5 breakout Kyle Pitts. I mean, yeah, I think this team can just methodically continue to build this team in the proper way, continue to, use those draft picks responsibly. Obviously, it didn't work out last year. I'm sure they drafted Jonathan Brooks. That kind of sucks, but
hurts. Yeah,
it does. But I mean, all right. Speaking of quarterback, you said hurts. I know that's not what you meant, but that reminded me. You can probably take one of these quarterbacks, maybe Jalen Hurts, maybe Baker Mayfield coming off in his big year, and maybe you squeeze an extra little pick out of that, and you can, I don't know, do some more with it.
Yeah.
And put Deontay Johnson in the package.
I don't know if Deontay Johnson is gonna
get him off your squad.
I don't know if he's ever gonna play again. I mean,
that dude is great. The Steelers are so good at picking crazy people.
I love how Fantrax shows him as all three of the teams that he was on, just Panthers, Ravens, Texans. And then the Ravens went and got him back.
The Ravens got him back.
Just for that comp pick. Because he can't play in the playoffs. I think that was pretty smart. I don't know if they'll get a comp pick because I don't know if anybody's going to sign him. Anyway, was this our last team?
Yeah, that was it.
That was it. All right. Early 2025 favorite.
Oh, God. You don't want my opinion.
I want the Green Bay Packers.
That's what I was gonna say. Hot take. Yeah. Give me Michelle.
Yeah, I like Michelle.
I'm between the Packers and the Jags. I think the Jags can do a lot with those.
From worst to first. Yes, I think you're right.
But yeah, the Packers or Jags might be slightly leaning with the Packers though.
Yeah, I think the Packers are more likely, but
was the Jags the one that we said where you asked could they go worst to first?
Yeah. They got all those draft picks. They got
1, 2, and 3.
Oh yeah, they're picking like the first. They've got like the first 3. Huh? Yeah, I'm gonna go. Yeah, I'm gonna say Jags and Michelle in the finals next year.
I can see it. Call here first.
All right. Well, that's it. We did 3 shows
in September.
We did 3 shows for this league this year. Hopefully, we'll be able to do it again for them next year. We are open for signups for 2025. We could catch it in the off season. We could catch it in the preseason, in season, off, whatever you want to do. So you know where to find us. YardsForFantasy.com. Yeah. Good luck. Go Packers. Go Jags.